Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, all my students. Nice to meet you. Today we start learn about the English specific purpose. Learning English for specific purpose is approach to teaching English design according to student need. With aim, the student are be able to master English in the field they are working on. The English material being designed based on the result of the analysis the student need. SP with focus on the developing communicative skills in a specific discipline such as English for academic purpose, English for occupational purpose, English for business purpose, English for professional purpose, and English for vocational purpose. English for specific purpose has emerged as a significant field in applied linguistics. This is mostly related with the needs of the students' specific academic for occupational field. The aim the student being able to communicate properly and correctly in speaking English in oral and write form, being be able to read literature, being be able to obtain of the competencies and they wanted to achieve the learning process. ASP aim more in the language in context than grammar and language structure. ASP need to analyze to determine which the language skill are most needed. The syllabus are designed according to the student need and the design syllabus with the authentic goals. NSP teacher, they are playing more roles as a designer, collaborator, a researcher, motivator, guidance, and evaluator, and etc. Organize the course of the art, set learning goals, set learning objective, design, organize course material, plan student assessment, setting goals and objective, setting long-term goals, and short-term objective. Course materials such as modules, textbooks, journals, portfolios, houses materials, authentic material, and extra. The characteristic of ASP according to the Carter, authentic material, relevance of the learner needs, intrinsic interest, cultural opportunities, linguistic demand, cognitive demand, logistical consideration, quality, and exploitability. Subject matter must be authentic, oriented, relate be objective, listen oriented must be in according with the need of the student. Self-direction, students should have the freedom to decide it, what, when, and how will they learn. ASP designed to meet need of the learner include three aspects. The first ASP must be designed to meet the need of the learner. The second ASP relies a methodology and activities according with the target fields of the knowledge. And the third, as a new approach, the focus of ASP, the use of typical language skill, the source, genres, there are appropriate to activity. The fundamental characteristic of ASP according to the FN and MEGI, there are ASP should use specific learning situation and teaching method. There are different from the general English. ASP seem to be more suitable and suitable for adult learners in the both high academic level and professional. The assessment of the ASP include the formative, summative, formal assessment, and then formal, informal assessment. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you so much. I hope it is useful for my all student, and then good bless for you are with the success and happy life. We will be continue the next meeting. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.